Hello and welcome. We made it to our first Pixar feature-length film with Toy Story.
You saved the day again, Woody.
You're my favorite deputy.
You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
Toy Story was released in 1995. It is the first feature-length film that Pixar created, and it is one of the most important films that they've ever done. Not only is it the first feature-length film that Pixar done, this is the first CGI feature-length film that's ever been made. And I think I mentioned this before, but Joss Whedon worked on the screenplay. He is one of the screenwriters for Toy Story, and as we know, Joss Whedon directed a lot of the Marvel films that we just talked about last month, so connection is awesome. Yeah. No, just like everything else, this is fantastic. They do a phenomenal job. And this story is a very interesting concept. It terrifies me in reality. I don't like the idea that toys are alive, that yet all these things behind me have living, breathing capability and could possibly murder me in my sleep. In this world it doesn't happen, but as we know in other worlds, it happens. But as we know, this is a family picture, so we don't worry about that stuff. It is a really fun concept. I really like how they do have their own personalities, and the arcs of the story are really important. That Woody and everyone knows that they are toys, but Buzz Lightyear does not know he's a toy.
All right, that's enough. Look, we're all very impressed with Andy's new toy.
Toy?
T-O-Y. Toy.
Excuse me, I think the word you're searching for is Space Ranger.
The word I'm searching for, I can't say, because there's preschool toys present.
And he thinks he's a legit space ranger, and what he has to deal with is really fantastic screenwriting, and the fact that they have to deal with moving and be going onto a journey and dealing with a lot of things that humans actually deal with brings a new perspective onto everything, and it's a really cool way to tell kids a story and to teach them lessons in a sense, instead of just using humans all the time. We also do have a really amazing voice cast. Tom Hanks and Tim Allen star in this film.
Buzz Lightyear! Any other toy would give up his moving parts just to be you. You got wings. You glow in the dark. Your helmet does that whoosh thing.
Buzz Lightyear mission log. The local sheriff and I seem to be at a huge refueling station of some sort.
You!
According to my Nava computer.
Shut up! You shut up!
And both of them are really loved people, especially Tom Hanks. Good guy Tom Hanks. And mostly good guy Tim Allen. Back then Tim Allen was really huge. And he was in Home Improvement and was such a family man and was one of the most well-known comedians in the 90s when this was a big deal. So they definitely have an all-star cast, and they're still repraising their voices even now that we're gonna have a Toy Story 4 down the road. We're gonna talk about that later on though. And the music is also fantastic. The music was made by Randy Newman, who also did the music in Princess and the Frog that we previously talked about.
You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. You just remember what your old pal said, babe. You've got a friend in me.
That's the one thing I forget, that we obviously know You Got a Friend in Me. That's basically the most well-known Toy Story song, but there's a whole list of songs. Randy Newman did more songs than just that one for this film, and it's just in the background and it blends in really well. But it's cool to look back and see that there's actually more songs from Toy Story than just You've Got a Friend in Me. And just like I mentioned before, there's tons of Pixar Easter eggs. There's too many to name, especially in every single review that we talk about. But I really love that they continued on with this trend with this one, and during the staff meeting that Woody is having with everyone, You have the books behind you that are all the shorts that they just did, that we just talked about.
You guys think this is a big joke. We've only got 1 week left before the move. I don't want any toys left behind.
And that was one of the coolest things that I saw. So things like that, they're just really impressive to me. Even though it's just something really simple, it just shows how much more heart and creativity they put into everything. And I also love how we have Sid, who is basically Frankenstein, puts together toys and that gives them the uncanny valley of it, which goes back to, this should not be a thing. But it's okay. This shows the extent of how it can be turned into horror films, and it can be a terrifying thing, but for kids. It is funny to think about though, because this doesn't bother me, but if it was reality, this would freak me out so much. But I'm okay with CGI. I think at this point too, CGI is now such an important part of our lives that it's everywhere, that we kind of lost the creepiness of it because it was a foreign thing, and now it's just every day. And I did mention that before with another review that we did with Up and Away, but it does continue on here that it is kind of uncanny valley, but now we're used to it, that it's not that big a deal anymore. The character of Sid is really interesting too though, because he is the monster, but then they end up coming to life for him and terrifying him after he tortured the toys. But you just completely scarred this person for their entire lifetime, and I don't know how they would be okay after that. It is literally terrifying in reality when you actually think about the story and think about this happening in real life. It becomes a horror film.
From now on, you must take good care of your toys. Because if you don't, we'll find out, Sid. We toys can see everything.
So play nice.
Their association though is really cool, because even with little details, the carpets in Sid's house look just like The Shining, and I love the homage to it. The Shining is one of my all-time favorite films, especially horror films. So little details like that is just amazing, and I can go on and on. There are tons, but too many to name, but I really, really admire that a lot. And the characters are fun. Woody is a really fun character, and Buzz is a really fun character, and they make a really great team. But I do prefer Buzz when he's Mrs. Nesbit.
I think you've had enough tea for today. Let's get you out of here, Buzz.
Don't you get it? You see the hat? I am Mrs. Nesbit.
Snap out of it, Buzz!
That is still one of my favorite things that they came out with this film. The movie is really great, and I do like the idea of Toy Story, but personally for me, I'm not the biggest fan of the Toy Story franchise, but I'm a really huge fan of the rides. And during this time, we are getting the addition of Toy Story Land in Walt Disney World, and it's already in a couple of different places in Shanghai and Disneyland Paris, and I think Tokyo as well. But they are already having Toy Story Lands in the various Disney parks, but we are getting it in Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World, and it is opening to the public at the end of June. So we'll be already done talking about Toy Story and every Toy Story film before it actually gets to it, but when I do, I'm excited to see how it will be. I'm really excited for this, even though I think they should have came out with a legit Pixar Land compared to Toy Story Land, because it would have been better to add more additions because there's so many amazing Pixar films. But I still really love the Pixar, I really love the Toy Story rides. And Toy Story Midway Mania is one of my ultimate favorite rides in the Disney parks. It is so much fun. The fact that you do have video games and you could just shoot. And I'm a very competitive person, so I obviously always love to go on this ride. time. It doesn't matter. I beat my score! I still haven't got, okay, I'm still the cat, you're the bird. Alright. I beat my score. I did again. Oh, I got the best vehicle again! Yeah! But I still am trying to get over 200, but I'm improving every single time. So I am a bigger fan of the rides and the idea compared to the actual movies themselves. But I'm glad that we have it. It's a unique concept, although a terrifying concept, but it's really cute and they do a really fun time with it and they put so much heart into it. So they're amazing films to watch, and this is the first one. We have so many more to go because so many sequels. So we're gonna take a look at the other ones a little bit later, but tomorrow we're gonna be talking about another short Gertie's game. So stay tuned, and as always, I hope you have a magical day and I will see you real soon.